Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a nice long weekend and a happy Independence Day. It is Tuesday morning at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. We had no overnight trade in the grain markets. The markets will reopen this morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Time following the long holiday weekend. If you are listening on the podcast, as always, really appreciate it. Leave me a review or a rating if you have not already. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. The channel is really growing and could use any additional subscriptions and likes. It helps YouTube to really spread these videos around, so certainly appreciate that. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I offer a subscription service. It includes my morning email, which goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. There's a text message service that goes along with that. My subscriber-only videos and content are sent every single day of the week and are extremely popular. I actually had one out very early this morning regarding the weather situation and how it relates to the markets to start off the week. This is a monthly subscription that can be canceled at any time. So this is a ton of information for $49 a month and absolutely no obligation, guys. Absolutely check that out. So I think that weather will be the big talking point here today as we get the week started. And we had some rain over the weekend. You can see in the Dakotas here, there was some rain in South Dakota. There was some rain in North Dakota. Now, this map that I'm showing you here may overstate slightly the amount of rain that actually fell. These green areas, saw a quarter inch or next to nothing. But these darker areas, these red and yellow areas, central South Dakota did all right. There was a chunk of northeastern North Dakota that did all right. There was a chunk of, say, south central North Dakota that did all right in regard to precipitation. Some of this stuff was forecasted, some of it was not. Western Nebraska caught some rain. Western Kansas, Colorado, down into the Texas Panhandle caught some rain as well over the weekend. Just over the last 12 hours, we had some of those rains, and there continues to be a system here that pushes across the Dakotas and now sits over a good chunk of it over southern Minnesota. So you've got some areas here over the weekend and into this morning that caught rain, and they really needed rain in those areas. I mean, those areas of the Dakotas and southern Minnesota in particular really, really needed the rain. They had been drought-stricken or very, very dry. The weather map, honestly, guys, this is a very bearish weather map to start off the week following the 4th of July weekend. You've got rain in the forecast for the vast majority of U.S. corn and soybean growing areas, all the way from Ohio through Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, southern Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota. North Dakota is drier. The southern plains are drier. But this is a bearish weather map on this date in the calendar in any year. Now, what does that mean for the markets here today? I don't really know. If this were any of the last 5 years, this is a limit down trade in the corn market this morning. This year, you've got a tighter old crop situation and just a much tighter supply and demand situation in general. So I'm not exactly sure how the market's going to handle it. I would imagine that we open lower today. No guarantees by any means in this sort of environment, but this is a bearish looking weather map. Here's your 6 to 10 day deal, which for a lot of the Corn Belt is now cool and wet, barring maybe the western 2/3 of Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, a little bit of southern Minnesota. But this is a little bit different than the forecast that we saw going home last week. So yeah, I'll go out on a limb here, guys, and say that the weather is bearish this morning and that the market's probably open lower based on that. Where do we go from there? I really don't know. Crude oil traded fresh 6-year highs overnight. Talks between OPEC and its oil-producing allies were postponed indefinitely. They failed to reach an agreement on oil production beyond August. So your spot month WTI contract, which is August now, I believe, peaked at $76.98 per barrel, the highest trade for any spot month WTI crude contract since November 2014. More bad news for ethanol. A federal appeals court has struck down a year-round E15 or year-round sales of E15. So back in 2019, under the Trump administration, they allowed summertime sales of E15, thereby going to a year-round E15 deal. The court said last week that the Trump administration overreached its authority when it lifted the ban. This is the second big blow to the ethanol industry in as many weeks. We had that Supreme Court ruling, I believe, on June 25th, telling us that biofuel waivers would be extended for small refiners, likely reducing demand for ethanol. And this E15 thing is not necessarily a short-term demand killer, but it doesn't help for the growth of ethanol by any means. Brazilian farmers have harvested about 12% of their second corn crop. We're seeing more production cuts here. Ag Rural cut its estimate for the second corn crop down to 54.6 from 60 million metric tons previously. So they've got their estimate for Brazil's corn crop in total at 85.3, which is about the lowest estimate out there. And I would imagine that you see other private groups and government entities as well follow suit. That would be my guess here. They had a multi-month drought, a late season frost, just an absolute terror of growing season. All your reports are delayed this week. Export inspections this morning, crop progress after the close today, ethanol production Thursday morning, export sales Friday morning. The cattle market, we traded some cash at 120 in the south, 126 in the north, so kind of some disparity there, but that was pretty much kind of par for the course here the last week or two. The box beef market was a little bit lower on Friday. I'm not quite sure how we'll open this morning. The stock market this morning ahead of the cash open is a little bit lower. The S&P's down 1, the Dow's down 30, US dollar's down a little bit. Bonds are up. Gold is up $25. Silver is up sharply as well. Crude oil again is higher and traded some fresh 8-year highs overnight, 76.06 in the August WTI. Everybody have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you same time tomorrow.